I've been a long-haul trucker for nearly a decade, and I've driven some of the most isolated roads in the country. Nights like the one I'm about to tell you about are what make me question everything I thought I knew about the job. That night I was hauling a load across a remote stretch of desert highway, the kind of road where the only company you get is the hum of your engine and the endless dark sky overhead. The moon was full and bright, casting a pale glow over the cracked asphalt and barren landscape. I had been driving for hours without a single vehicle passing me, the silence almost deafening. I was tired, but not sleepy, and I remember feeling a strange mix of calm and unease, like something was just beneath the surface, waiting. The radio was mostly static, the kind that creeps in and out with no signal. I flipped through stations hoping for some music or talk show to cut through the loneliness, but the only sound was that low, eerie crackling. That's when I saw it on the edge of my headlights, a figure standing motionless by the side of the road. It was a man, or at least it looked like one at first glance. Pale skin, tall and wearing clothes that seemed old-fashioned, like something from a different time. I slowed the truck, my heart pounding hard against my ribs, but when I blinked and looked again, the figure was gone. No footprints, no signs he had been there at all. I tried to convince myself it was a trick of the light or exhaustion messing with my mind. The desert has a way of playing games on you when you're all alone, especially at night. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. My eyes darted to the side mirrors, catching glimpses of shadows that seemed to shift just beyond clear view. The radio suddenly sparked to life with a loud burst of static, then a whisper so faint I could barely make it out. It sounded like my name, but distorted, almost like a voice buried beneath layers of white noise. I slammed my hand on the dash to turn it off, but it wouldn't stop. The static grew louder, as if something was trying to break through from the other side. But the other truck kept pace, never losing ground. No matter how fast I went, it stayed right behind me, a shadow mimicking every move. The road started to change, to where there had been smooth pavement, now rough cracks and weeds sprouted through, and the streetlights vanished. The moonlight seemed to dim, swallowed by some unseen darkness. My breath came quick and shallow. The radio screamed again, louder than before, this time the voice clear enough to send chills down my spine. It whispered warnings, words I couldn't fully understand, but that carried a terrifying weight. I tried to look away, but my eyes kept snapping back to that empty truck, its engine roaring like a beast ready to pounce. As I rounded a sharp bend, the highway narrowed suddenly. Trees appeared on both sides, their branches clawing at the sides of my trailer, scraping and rattling the metal. The other truck was still right behind me, its lights flickering wildly like it was struggling to keep up but refusing to let go. I glanced to the side and caught a glimpse of the figure again, the pale man from before, standing just off the road among the trees. Followed by a chorus of voices all chanting at once. The whispers turned into screams, and the air inside the cab grew icy cold. My hands trembled on the wheel as the engine sputtered violently, threatening to die. I fought to keep control, but the road beneath me seemed to shift. The trees leaned in closer, blocking the moonlight entirely. I couldn't stay stopped on that dark stretch of road, but I was frozen in place, the chill inside the cab creeping deeper with every passing second. After what felt like an eternity, I forced my hands to move, fumbling to restart the engine. It sputtered and coughed, fighting to come alive, but the truck just wouldn't respond. The red eyes I'd seen in the mirror seemed to hover just beyond the glass, refusing to blink, refusing to go away. Finally, with a violent shudder, the engine roared back to life. I slammed my foot down on the accelerator, desperate to escape whatever had settled around me. The air was thick with a damp smell that reminded me of old earth and decay. My truck was the only vehicle there, but something about the place felt wrong, like the shadows were watching me even under the harsh, flickering lights. When I stepped outside, the temperature dropped sharply. My breath puffed out in white clouds, even though I knew it wasn't cold enough for frost. Shadows flickered between the trees, too quick to focus on, but enough to unsettle me. I could feel eyes watching from the darkness, waiting just beyond the edge of sight. Every sound, the snap of a twig, the rustle of leaves, set my nerves on edge. Then I saw him again, the pale figure, standing in a small clearing bathed in a faint, unnatural light. His eyes glowed red, reflecting a fire that wasn't there. He didn't move, didn't blink, just stared. I wanted to run, but my feet felt glued to the ground. Behind him, I noticed something worse, more shadows shifting in the trees, shapes that twisted and warped like smoke caught in a breeze. I could hear low growls and hisses. Scraping my hands on rough bark. When I looked up, the trail had vanished. The footprints were gone. replaced by thick mud and thorny vines. I was lost. Panic set in, but I forced myself to keep moving. I spotted a faint light through the trees, the glow of a campfire or lantern. Crawling toward it, I hoped it was someone, anyone, who could help me. But as I drew closer, the light revealed the same old pickup truck from the rest stop. The door hung open, creaking in the wind, and inside, pinned to the dashboard, were photographs. Faces frozen in terror stared up at me, truckers I didn't recognize, their eyes wide with fear and something darker. I felt a sick chill spread through me as I flipped through the pictures. The creatures emerged from the shadows, hulking shapes, half-seen and terrible. Their eyes glowed with the same fiery red as the pale man's. I sprinted back toward the truck, heart hammering in my chest. The forest screamed around me, voices rising in a chorus of rage and hunger. When I reached my rig, I slammed the door shut and locked it tight. But the fear didn't stop. I slammed the gear into drive and floored the accelerator. The silence was shattered by a faint noise, almost imperceptible at first, a soft rustling coming from outside the truck. I snapped my head toward the window, straining to see into the darkness. The trees weren't here anymore, but shadows flickered just beyond the reach of my headlights, twisting and shifting like living smoke. The radio crackled again, breaking the silence with an eerie voice that seemed to whisper from all directions at once. It said something I couldn't understand, but the tone was urgent, almost desperate. The static grew louder, drowning out my thoughts, filling the cab with a low, droning hum. Suddenly, the engine sputtered and died, leaving me in complete darkness. My hands trembled as I reached for the keys and unlocked the passenger door. I wanted to leave this place, find any way out. But as I climbed down, the ground felt soft and unfamiliar beneath my boots. The air grew colder, heavier, and I heard that low growl again, deep and guttural, coming from the shadows. I glanced back toward my truck and saw the pale figure standing silently in the distance, glowing eyes fixed on me. Then the forest seemed to ripple at the edges of the darkness, and shapes began to emerge, twisted, half-formed creatures with eyes that burned like embers. I ran toward the pickup, the creatures closing in, their growls rising into a chilling chorus. I slammed the door and surged inside, but the cab was empty except for more photographs pinned to the dashboard. Faces of men and women, truckers like me, all frozen in terror. Then I noticed the note again, the same one from before. They come for those who stop. My blood ran cold. I was caught in a trap with no way out. The pickup's engine suddenly roared to life on its own, shaking violently. I fumbled for the keys but found none. The truck lurched forward, pulling me away from the dark figures chasing me. As we sped down the endless black road, the trees returned, reaching out to scratch the sides of the truck like claws. The glowing eyes appeared in every shadow, every crack of darkness. The road twisted and warped beneath the tires like it was alive, breathing, trying to pull me back. I had no idea how long I'd been driving. Minutes, hours, days. Time lost all meaning out here. My hands cramped from gripping the wheel, and my eyes burned from staring into the dark abyss ahead. Every instinct screamed at me to stop, to get out, to fight, but every message I'd received warned me otherwise. I was still inside the cab of my truck, but the world outside was a void, endless and empty. The spectral trucks surrounded me now, their headlights casting ghostly halos in the darkness. One by one they circled, their empty cabs staring like hollow eyes. I tried to open my door, but it was sealed tight. The pale figure appeared beside my window, eyes glowing fiercely.